Now we have the gate 32. And the gate 32 is intense because this has to do a lot with letting go of living and dying. This is going to be our next full moon energy within here. So we started out with a full moon. Here we are to the second full moon of this constellation of Libra. It's going to be connected to the angels and again the male serpents. It's going to be connected to Spica, Arcturus, and Neckar. Um, Arcturus and Neckar both in the Boats constellation. And within this, the full moon is going to be in the gate 42. So we'll go over this. So from October 13th till October 18th is going to be the gate 32 and the full moon on the 17th. So let's just dive right in. And first, let me just actually talk about Speak Up really quick because this is going to have to do with the gate 32, the gate of duration, really integrity. This has a lot to do with integrity. And 42, letting go of living and dying. These polarities in here is the integrity that we hold within our cosmic starfire, our spark of who we are, our permanent seed atom. That as we move as consciousness through the Bardo realms and the chambers, that we know ourselves, we hold that integrity of our light. So there is no letting go, hanging on to anything. We do truly let go and move through with the greatest of ease. And the angels here connected to Spica, the Spica star nation, also has a huge connection to the Leonine or the white winged lions. And this is really a guardianship energy for sure. Spica is amazing because they were very involved with Earth, especially during the Lemurian and Atlantean times. And they hold such a high level of integrity to upholding divine law that they really were one of the nations implemented during that cataclysm time and right before the cataclysm occurred, where there was a decision from the guardian forces to come down to the earth and remove all the power sources from the technologies. So we know a lot of the pyramids and these discoveries, these megaliths and different things that we have found around the planet, that we know that they're more than what they look like, right? They're not just a building, they're not a tomb, they are generators, they have transmission capabilities and so on and so forth, but yet they're deactivated. The Spica Star Nation was one of the primary star nations that was involved in upholding that and removing a lot of that technology out of the Earth plane and even out of the first harmonic universe dimension in order to protect it and keep it out of the wrong hands. The Spica Star Nation upholds this massive integrity, and when you have a connection to this race line, they basically are calling you up into embodying that aspect of you. And they're a very high dimensional race line of beings. And so incredible, incredible, incredible to work with. Arcturus has a duality to it. And Arcturus is amazing. One of the most loving, incredible, funny. I love they have a wide dynamic of emotion that they know how to work with, and just incredibly brilliant race line of beings, the Arcturians. We also know that there is a small group within the Arcturian star nation that became embedded within as Arcturian Anunnakis. They embedded within. So part of their genetic family line kind of get enmeshed within a lot of the dramas. And so their wisdoms got used in inappropriate ways or against creation. So within Arcturus and anyone's connection is going to show a duality within there. And where you may be being called to correct things within family lines, ancestral lines, these kinds of things. And maybe even, Arcturus is going to have a lot to do with correcting energy of bound emotions or misaligned grids or energies, networks on the planet that really play on our consciousness as a human species. So this is going to now be our full moon. Let's look at our full moon in the gate 42. Um Actually, let me backtrack. My next slide is actually the gate 32. So these alignments, Spica, Arcturus, Neckar, all of these are in alignment to the gate 32, continuity or duration. And this is about ancestral reverence. What ancestral reverence says is that there are amazing, amazing race lines out there, so many. And, I chose this image for this slide so that we could actually see a visual of a potential other species out there that has its own journey. And there is ancestral reverence and wisdom within it because we all do originate from the founders' races. And there is just diversion as progression goes through the evolution of a species. But in the end, when we learn to start to attune to our core ancestral um, ethics and core virtues, values, and laws, we begin to bring back into veneration and we can really restore integrity to all race lines. So, again, I want to say it doesn't matter what a race line has been through, that we want to think of this even in the journey of, say, the Zetas, the Greys, the Draconians, the Arcturians that moved in digressive ways, the Syrians that moved in digressive ways, the Pleiadians, the Andromedans, even the Lyrans that moved in digressive ways. Every single one has taken both paths of experience. And here we are, as the cosmic human, we have the ability within ourselves to restructure, to be that veneration, and to correct and realign our trajectory again. So within here, it is in the splenic center, it is the fear of failure, but it is about us really start to venerate the core values that can stand the duration or the continuity of time. And what that means, it's the same with genetics. When they do genetic hybridization, they're looking for the most um, durable, or the genetics with the most integrity within them, so that they can uphold the codes within them for many, 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 many generations. With the goal is for a species to become eternal, in the sense that its genetics can perpetuate the living life force, and it takes the resilience of that genetics and that DNA to do it. And our genetics, no matter what, we have to give reverence that has come from our ancestors before us, and that we, through our consciousness, think of, like, say, Bruce Limpton with his thoughts of that it doesn't matter the environment, you have the ability through your consciousness to change it, to change whatever those genetic codes may have been. You can rewrite them. So this is what we're doing with this gate. It is taking us out of failure into preservation and into veneration. This is really, again, that eternalness of a continuation for future ancestors, if you will. And the full moon now being in the gate 42, this again is, you've heard me say this now, letting go of living and dying. This is the name given to it from the gene keys. It's called growths and endings. It's about what it takes to cultivate something all the way through its growth, so that you can put the ending at the right place, so that it has integrity to it, so that it can create a new cycle. It's the energy to close a cycle and bring something to an end. So it's the energy to complete a project, to get something done, to make something happen, and to see it all the way through, so that you can create the closing of that cycle. You would see this through any kind of project. If you get a project started, it's always fun in the beginning, right? um, and then what it is then it takes the effort, the consciousness, the input, in order to keep building it, developing it, growing. But then at what point is it coming to the accumulation of that completion, that where the project has come into fruition? So that's what this is. This has everything to do with our window at the time of death, that our entire life, again, is about the energy to close a cycle and to bring things to an end in such a way that we have venerated the entire energy of our life to this greater purpose, so that the fruits of our labor have now become something that is magical in the sense of creation. So the fruits of the labor of our life have completely allowed us to become uh, awakened, to become the Buddha in a lifetime, right? To become the awakened one, to become the yogi, to become the one that has self-realization and knows thyself. That is truly, if there was a goal for any of us in this lifetime, all other things kind of naturally happen just on that path of knowing thyself. It takes away the shadow of expectation, moves us um into a state of more detachment from the Maya, and into a state of celebration. What that means, celebration is really key. Celebration isn't just celebrating, oh, the fruits of my labor, it's celebrating everything along the path that got you to that point. And I know many of you already are at this state within your awareness that even your most challenging relationships, even your most difficult moments in this life, that you can actually have a celebration for it because you recognize what it was for you in your journey to getting you to where you are today. So within that, embracing so much, that is going to be a powerful full moon in the gate 42.